I know. Welcome to Pot. I think this is movie 2. I guess I'm movie 1. I forgot to do the post thingy, but I guess we'll do the second movie today. Alright. Now y'all remember the movie is 50 minutes long, I hope. Alright, so, what should we get? Let's start in North America, because that area. I'm getting a video, guys. Like this, because I can't see it. We're going to the United States, and the United States really has gotten in a conflict until one of the Mexican soldiers put soldiers along the border. And now the second Cold War is ended, but the third Cold War is getting closer and closer than ever. And some people are talking about a second Cold War even happening. The unification of USA and Canada is getting more likely. But wait now, we'll just talk about this war. And USA is really strong. Also Puerto Rico. And this part is a part of them. I don't really know what Puerto Rico is. I think it's on the other side of the world, but I think this is what Puerto Rico is. Or I just have bad geography skills. Like every goddamn person has. Like every person in the United States has. So they use this as a good call. So they start sending a campaign, and they send a naval landing here and here. And the alliance, NATO is not called in because this was formed by Mexico, so it's their own fault. So Mexico did not mean, and they charged a soldier. And during this time, the United States is actually pushing in and calling this the Second Mexican and American War, as many people start realizing that a third Cold War is probably about to go down, as Mexico has just lost all of this. And oh my gosh, it's probably like 21-20 right now, and this probably begun in 21-25 to 21-31. Well, they officially made an official peace treaty, and now America will get new states. 8, basically. America will get new states. So America is about to get some new states. Finally. They only have 52 states, I know that, but in this timeline they have 52 states. And also these guys, yeah, they were pushed out. So now the world is finally actually peaceful again. And we're also seeing Canada, United States become one country, which this took a long, like 50 years probably. It took them 50 dang years just for them to unite under one country. So yeah, this is probably not gonna happen in your lifetime. Alright. Sorry about that cut real quick. I just had to use the bathroom. The Great Lakes are probably land by now. The only thing we are starting to see is that one lake become land, which it is now, and it became a whole independent country, so now it'll be used. I'm joking. It's still a lake. Now this video is for a tutorial. Alright, there you go. And basically, the whole Security Union is about to happen, but it's still called the United States because America basically has 60 states now. Yeah, 60 dang states. That's a lot of states. Now we're seeing a huge new loss to this country right here, which is one country declaring independence as its own nation, and a new nation and a newly independent nation, which is basically what do y'all want to call it? I mean, let's call it. We're gonna call it. We're gonna say republic. Not Namibia. Let's say. Zambia. The Republic of Zambia declares independence, which is a pretty big piece of a lot of countries. And this causes basically this country to declare independence, including Angola with a new shape, and the DRC basically. The DRC declares independence, and this whole country just falls and collapses with 3 new countries that join the Republic. These 3 new countries join the Republic of Zambia. It's a pretty big republic, and now it's an official empire, I guess you could say, but many other countries like, wasn't this Kenya? Yeah, Kenya is looking to join this. Somaliland is Somaliland. And there's no other war except for these guys getting in a war with South Sudan and Ethiopia. This is a pretty big war. So Sudan troops start pushing into South Sudan and make a huge offensive towards the capital. I want to say that no lasers are allowed. They're just using modern guns or modern equipment because they're very old-fashioned, while all the other big countries are just using a lot of stuff, but they're old-fashioned. They want the AK-47s. And South Sudan officially falls to Sudan, which makes South Sudan non-existent and makes Sudan a lot bigger. A lot bigger. And they focus on Ethiopia, and Ethiopia is already pushing back some Sudanese troops. They're pushing back some Sudanese troops, but then they eventually get a stalemate, and a peace treaty is signed between the 2 countries. Is to make sure another war doesn't happen again between them, but another war probably happening in between. So Ethiopia gets all of this land. In the red, they get some of Ethiopia's land right here. A little slither of land. Not as big as Ethiopia's because, where did they get as much land as Ethiopia? So now, weird waters are divided, but they're becoming all shaped like an E. I'm not even lying. This has been 9 minutes into this. 9 minutes. 9 minutes. If we look at alliances, there's a new alliance forming, and it's called the anti-Russian expansion, because Russia is looking towards invading the Baltics, Finland, Kazakhstan, Turkey. They really want to invade those guys alliance. And China is looking to invade Tibet, Mongolia, and Kazakhstan and Korea, because they're not doing that yet. So this new alliance brings up Egypt. These guys, Egypt and Sudan, Russia and China, and Russia is probably the second biggest. I know. I mean, the USA is probably second biggest now. Basically, United States, probably second biggest because they own almost a whole goddamn continent. I could have kept going and united. But that's what's happening, yes. Mexico and the USA are uniting. Because Mexico just... I like Mexico. I've been to Mexico. And Mexico is a fun place. I like Mexico very much. And the United States officially is bigger than Russia. Which just causes all of this to happen. And another alliance is happening, which is with Afghanistan. And Uzbekistan really doesn't like Kazakhstan doing all this, so they join in. And the word means bad. And... oh gosh. Hey, sorry about that, y'all. Sorry about that. I didn't even notice I was getting a call till then. So, yeah. So, there's a new alliance, as y'all can see, and it's the Red Alliance. Basically called the Axis, whatever y'all want to call it. I'm calling it the Axis. And World War IV is looking more likely to happen. The world is ready for this war, as North Americans are starting to put troops around this border with Russia and some troops in Turkey. And yeah, so we see an anti-Russian expansion alliance with the North American Union, France, Germany, Poland, Czechoslovakia, the Romanian Empire, Turkey, these guys, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Algeria. And this is the first time we're seeing Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, and Morocco actually going on something. And Chad, these guys, this guy, and a lot of African countries are joining this alliance because they don't want to be attacked by a lot of these guys. And India doesn't want to be invaded again. Kazakhstan. And we're seeing some members join on the red side, which Mongolia, the red side gets these guys now. Wait, no. No, they don't get these guys. They get a lot more African countries. They get some African countries like South Africa, Angola, these guys, and Mozambique, including Madagascar. And these guys are basically surrounded, so they have basically no choice. Including Somalia, they have no choice. Somaliland doesn't really have a choice because they're surrounded by one country that's in this. And Nigeria is really a weird country to talk about it, and this alternative future of the world, because they're looking more towards, I think, the West. They're looking more towards the United States and having less ties with Russia and China now. They've been friends with Russia and China for about 30 years, and from the 2050s to the 2080s. But the ties slowly started to cut off as they started trading with these guys, so they basically joined the blue side, which causes some African countries to join the red side, like Greenland. And Namibia has no choice but to join these guys, including Botswana and Zimbabwe. And isn't this like Zambia? Isn't this Zambia? Pretty sure this is Gambia or Zambia. I'm starting to think that this may be Gambia, but these guys are neutral. And yeah, the whole world is looking like World War IV is about to go down. As they really are starting to see the beginning of World War IV. including Korea, joins on the blue side. And yeah, this World War IV is literally getting big. And as some Asian countries are joining the reds, as some European countries are joining the red side. Portugal joins the blue side, as Spain, in this alternative, has been getting more ties with Russia because Spain wants to form the Spanish Empire again and invade Morocco and Portugal. But they got France in the US. And Italy, there we go. The Albanian Empire joins on the blue side. I'm liking these guys because they really just please. Alright. And they really just want to unite, so they basically do. That's the only unification I was saying happening. And y'all are starting to see that World War IV is getting closer. Yeah, because it is. World War IV is literally about to happen as all these countries, they join on the red side. And they all join on the red side. Switzerland, what do you think? You're gonna kick the Sweden and Norway have to join the side. And they do. Norway joins the red side as Sweden joins the blue side. And the world is looking a lot aligned. And this is what World War IV is going to look like. Y'all remember World War III? Yeah. This is World War IV. And many countries already put troops at the border, getting ready for an attack from all sides. As Iran is trying to rethink its choices, but doesn't really care. And this kind of looks like a total war. I'm not lying. This does look like a total war. This does look like a total war. No joke. So, let's get into this war. Alright? Let's get into World War IV. And the first countries we start seeing to join is these guys on the blue side, because they don't like Creekland. I have to think of all of this. And these guys have no choice. Oh my gosh, these guys are on the red side. And now, since Nigeria is basically really strong, these guys are kind of weak, so Creekland has no problem, as Creekland is probably in the top 30, top 20 or something, and the strongest. And these guys, these are the main problem for Creekland. And Nigeria is not really the main problem, because they are a pretty strong country. And they spearhead towards here, take out this area. It's a bunch of, isn't this Mali? Isn't this Mali? Yeah, this is Mali. I remember the name. I'm not forgetting African countries' names. Totally. And yeah, they're basically dying, and this whole area is basically suing for peace. And everybody in World War IV just realized that World War IV has just started, as Creekland is making the first moves. And now all these troops are being put on the border and have to face these guys mainly. So they go up, so the red makes a little pushing, but then are completely surrounded and taken over in the first few days. It's 2170 now. It's probably 2071 now. So it's probably 2070. And they start spearheading towards the capital, which they didn't learn their mistake. And putting the capital near the goddamn border, and they get the capital taken, and this whole front line just collapses. This whole thing collapses. I'm not even joking. The whole thing collapses. Yep, the whole thing collapses. The whole thing collapses, and now Chad, that is a pretty strong country, probably in the top 22. Starts pushing in to Sudan, Because that's literally their main goal. Push into Sudan, take out Sudan, move troops to Nigeria, and attack Nigeria. I'm pretty sure these are isn't this like the Central African Republic? Isn't it? I swear, I remember somebody calling this country the Central African Republic. And even Congo troops are starting to push in. And they already took out these guys, which basically destroyed them. They're joining them because they knew they stood no dang chance against the Congo. And then the Congo starts push. Then the Congo is starting to move troops here. But we are done with our African front as it's mostly stagnated here now. And Nigeria only took over. Oh gosh. And Nigeria's main goal is to wipe out Cleveland, so they start doing that. And they start informing a lot of troops. Now we gotta go to the Middle Eastern front, Asian front. Oh, what's that? Oh, there's already a peace treaty signed for Iran? Oh. Yeah, it's not looking good, buddy. That's... Oh, they carve up Iran like they did to Germany. Wow. 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 Wow, that really sucks. I know Afghanistan, what are you gonna do? What's Afghanistan gonna do? Oh, they noped their way out of World War IV. Probably a good idea. Are these guys? Oh, they noped their way out too. And Russia is still in this war as China. Oh, China loses a state. One of its the first state to actually declare independence, and the first one to be neutral in World War IV, as China just leaves the war, because they don't, which causes a lot of countries to leave World War IV, and now the Asian front is basically completed, as the blue has won the Asian front. Now it's just the African front and the Russian front, kind of like World War II. And Russia kind of doesn't want to go to war with these guys because, yeah. But the good thing, the only access country that is actually doing good is Spain. Spain is just took over all of Portugal. They make a peace treaty for that. Portugal joins in on Spain. Did I forget Germany? No, I did not forget Germany. Austria basically has to join Germany in the peace treaty, or else they'll basically die. And these guys, oh gosh, I can't say. These guys get taken by Italy, and these guys get taken by the Albanians. Yes, the Albanians. And Greece. These guys, they don't know really what to do with these guys, so they just split them up. They really just split Greece up into, and the other half basically becomes its own independent country. Becomes, let's call it Labour land, right? I don't know. Right, and a lot of these countries are joining in. This huge Balkan War is about to start the end for World War IV, and it's the 22nd century still, and it's 2185, and it's been 5 years into this war, which a lot of people die. And what's that? Hungary did what? Oh, they noped out their way out of this war? Makes sense. And that causes basically all the Balkans the Balkan front to collapse. And now the only main threat is Russia, which, what do? They nope their way out of this, which causes a lot of these countries to basically leave the war. And India is really huge, including these guys. And this huge war has changed the lives for many, as nuclear war was looking more certain to happen, but thankfully didn't, because many people are just starting to find out the nuclear weapons. And yeah. So a lot of these countries are starting to realize that this war is pretty bad, so we should end it. And the African front collapses after a long battle. And after a long battle, yeah, it's pretty bad. It's really bad, because many countries are starting to die out. As one country to die that doesn't really die is Nigeria. And this country right here is basically almost dead. No joke, it's basically dead. So they join basically this defensive organization. And Chad and Sudan make a peace treaty, which the African Republic, all of this, and Congo gets less, and Chad becomes chattier. A lot of countries are starting to leave this war. I mean a lot of countries are leaving this war. A lot. So many, in fact, that World War IV is over. And the peace treaty here is basically the Red Wind down here. And all of this became a part of Mozambique. Namibia got, these two countries got basically split in half. This country got split in half too. And it's a pretty big loss for the world. A huge loss for the world, because they just lost the African front. And a lot of African countries are starting to rethink of why they joined the blue. But Mozambique is getting really tired of war, so they declare neutrality, and World War IV is over. Yes, World War IV is over, I repeat, and Madagascar is the last one to leave the war. And the world is now at peace. Peace again, and we still haven't figured out these border issues, because these border issues really suck. These borders are absolutely horrible. But I don't know how to draw nice borders, alright? And Sudan gets a lot of land because they really just want to keep going on the straight line path. And Ethiopia is like, fine. You bought me a lot, you basically won. So there you go. So it's basically a straight line. It's almost a rectangle. But the most rectangle country is not Turkey anymore, because look at it. It's Saudi Arabia or something. And now the world borders are looking a lot more changed. And what's that? Oh, Afghanistan joined India? And Nepal. Now nobody's stopping you guys, because Bangladesh also joined. India is basically an empire now, which is soon to collapse probably, but they got a lot of this land, and a lot of people support India's claims, and this is what the world map will be looking like if you're alive today. If you're alive in 2201, because yes, they reached the 23rd century without dying. And World War V is probably going to happen in the future. Everybody knows World War V is probably upcoming. But if we look at the alliances, the world doesn't really have that much alliances. And the North African Union, North African Republic, is getting a lot bigger and starting. This whole alliance, the Third Cold War, is now at every mind's head, because a Third Cold War is not really possible now, as everybody's starting to become happy, except China. China is not happy, so they start a war, and many people are like, why would you start a war? Well, that's because they have the right to, basically, because in the peace treaty, it said that China can now go to war with anybody except if they are in alliance, and nobody's basically in alliance anymore. So alliances is basically, if you talk about alliances, everybody's gonna like, why would we need alliance? And these guys basically collapsed. Had many people nowadays probably are starting to retreat back into old days because they don't really want to kill a lot more people. And China goes to war with one more person, and that is that's not Mongolia. But they would probably go to war with Mongolia, which ties a Cold War between China and Mongolia is happening. But they really just want a nuclear war on these guys because they took over a lot of their lands. And they don't really want to be messed with, so China gets all of this. Yeah, China gets all of that. No. Go forward now. Yeah, China basically gets all of this because they really want to expand their borders and make sure they are still living in the future. I'm surprised they haven't collapsed for the 50th time. And now looking up two big, massive countries like the Kazakhstan, and Kazakhstan makes a deal with China. They give back some old land, which China really likes from Kazakhstan, that they're doing this because China is really a collapsing country and is probably soon to collapse. So that's why Kazakhstan gives all this land away to China. And now it's starting to stir up its opponents. And China does one last favor for Kazakhstan. Give it officially all its land back. And Kazakhstan's like, alright, sure. So they give them a lot of land, more than expected, and more than the modern Chinese country really has nowadays. But basically, they have all of this. And now China is looking a lot more whole again. And as they give back some land to Kazakhstan, and a number of peace treaties, and now Kazakhstan is looking forward to become friends with China. I'm surprised that Russia hasn't fallen into a civil war. And these two countries, China is now full again. Yeah, basically China is now full again. And many of the world is starting to like China's peaceful way of handling things. Not like back in the days in the 21st century, but everybody is being taught about the 21st and 22nd century, because they're in the 23rd century. So nobody really cares. Yes. And yeah, the world is a lot more peaceful than it really used to be. Because a long time ago, none of this was peaceful. All of Africa, all the borders in Africa have basically changed except for Morocco, Western Sahara, which just involves things to the ground, but I don't know what this country's name. Does this country change? No, it didn't. These two countries, they're about to change because, and Gambia or Zambia, they change. They're not gonna change for a while, including South America. Let's zoom in and let's see what's happening. Oh, Nigeria is getting these guys. And Nigeria is looking towards a huge collapse, but it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And all these countries are preparing for World War V or for a huge African war. And many countries don't want to cause World War V. And here is the new alliance map, basically. So, countries in new alliance is a lot more becoming more Western. So, oh my gosh. Alright, so the Baltics, Finland, not Norway, Sweden, Germany, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Italy, France, not Spain. These guys, Turkey, Romania, Hungary, and now all of these guys are basically in an alliance. These guys, and Russia is basically surrounded by pretty blue countries, including Mongolia, which is voting to each other. India is in this alliance. Oh gosh, including these guys. Also including Nigeria, these guys, Chad, these guys, and this guy. And these guys basically joined this alliance, including Ethiopia and Somaliland. And a lot of countries are in this alliance. It's like a lot of countries are in this alliance. Like, I mean a lot of countries. Did you see this huge amount of alliances? And officially, these guys officially join in on the alliance, New Zealand and Australia. And all the countries that are not in alliance, and make some alliances up, and they call it the Anti-World Alliance expansion thing. Oh gosh, are you kidding me? If I zoom in, what is going on? Yes, no. Alright, there we go. A lot of African countries are in this alliance. And Russia officially joins the alliance, which is a little sus, including China. Which is a little sus to me, because these guys are also in on it. And a third Cold War is now getting more likely because many people are starting to realize that a third World War is not based on what will happen during it, but when it will happen. And that's just a matter of time that World War V will break out. And many countries are starting to prepare for this. As some countries, like a lot of these countries, joining on the alliance. But some countries start their own alliance called basically the Anti-United States Alliance, Anti-North American Expansion Alliance, but it's basically just this alliance, but it's, let's call it basically an alliance where if a country gets attacked, they would join in and put troops and enter volunteers and start putting troops along the border and just make volunteers go into that country that's being invaded and put guys on their own borders, which doesn't really make sense, but think about it. And Spain joins this alliance, including Tunisia, which that's pretty big. And now the world is looking about to have a World War V. That World War V is basically most likely to happen in the next 10 or 20 years. And many people are scared. And this video might be an hour. But I think we're going to have to cut it short today because I am very tired. I would like to take a nap. So, yeah, this is what the world map looks like. Hold on, let me get somewhere. Alright, Yep, so, I hope y'all enjoyed today's episode of this movie. I'm going to combine all of the videos in one. And on the day this ends, and I'm pretty sure this is going to end until, like, World War X. Which is getting more likely to happen, probably. Because if y'all see, the Alliance map is pretty big. Alright, I'll see y'all in the next episode. Peace out, and bye. Bye.